extremely clear bill. Satanic memorial statues, altars, or displays, or any other method of representing or honoring Satan may not be displayed on public property. This is known as, this bill is known as the Reject Escalating Satanism by Preserving Essential Core Traditions, or the Respect Act. So with that, let's open debate on the Respect Act. Senator Mendez.
Mr. Chairman, so that I don't get accused of questioning your motivations, can you explain why we're singling out one religion?
It's not a religion. Satanism is not a religion. Satan is implicitly antithetical to religion.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have members from the public who will probably speak against that assertion.
They certainly might disagree. However, the antithesis of religion is Satan. So, do you have another point to make?
Well, so, I mean, I guess, so the motivation is just that it's against your religion?
It is a desecration of our public property in the United States of America and in the state of Arizona for a satanic display, memorial, statue, altar to be on public property.
And then, Mr. Chairman, I guess I'm trying to understand the motivation for that. Is it because it's insulting to your religion? Is it because you don't like the aesthetics of it? I'm trying to understand why.
The motivations is that it's a desecration of our public property.
Mr. Chairman, it's a desecration of public property
We've seen
to
this
put.
situation. The reason for the Respect Act is we've seen this situation play out now, unfortunately, in other states. And it is absolutely abhorrent that a satanic memorial, statue, altar, or display, or any method or representation honoring Satan is displayed on public property.
But again,
very straightforward motivation.
because it offends your religion.
Understand it, but it's a very straightforward motivation.
I mean, I don't, and that's why I'm asking questions. So you're offended, it offends your religion, and that's why we're banning the.
No, sir, I'm not offended.
That's what I'm trying to get from.
It's a desecration of public property in the state of Arizona. Look, we have more respect for our public property. We have more respect for the people who call our state home than to allow satanic altars or other representations honoring Satan to be displayed on public property.
So,
That's
Mr. Chairman,
exactly why the Respect Act
so
is
no
being
respect
introduced.
for other views that are not your views.
Satanic altars and displays have no place on public property.
So if it's not with your view, then it should have nothing. Shouldn't be in public property.
You vote against my views all the time. You're welcome to do it again, but
Right.
the Respect Act is a very straightforward piece of legislation that says we respect the people of this state and we reject the escalating Satanism that we're seeing across this country and across the state.
I'm Minister Nectaire. I'm a minister of Satan of the Satanic Temple. I'm a council member of our congregation here in Arizona, the Satanic Temple, Arizona. And we, the Satanic Temple, are a recognized religion by the Internal Revenue Service of the United States. So we are a religion. Senator Hoffman mentioned that displaying satanic memorials or anything would be a desecration of state houses or government buildings. But these buildings are democratically sacred. They are not religiously sacred. The First Amendment makes that very clear. And not only the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, but Section 2, Chapter 12 of the Arizona Constitution clearly forbids this kind of limitation of any religious free expression. In addition to that, the Arizona Revised Code, Section 41-1493, if I'm getting that correct, also includes a free exercise clause. And this bill would directly limit our religion. Now, we do and have already been performing satanic rituals on public property. For one, my wedding happened in Catalina National Forest. That's public property. We've been participating in Tucson in the All Souls procession, and we have and do used an altar during that procession. We represent the literary character traits of Satan as depicted in romantic literature like Blake, Shelley, and and Anatole France. And this character is a heroic character who fights against tyrannical authority.
This is a sacred space where the future of our 7 to 10 million residents, depending on the month, is determined. And so I'm here in opposition to the Respect Act. And I would like to first start with some definitions. From the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. That encompasses the Establishment Clause. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. The Free Exercise Clause, which is or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, and the Free Speech Clause, or abridging the freedom of speech. So, members of the committee, I'm genuinely impressed that in only 25 words, this bill seems to violate 3 separate clauses of the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Now, we know that if this bill makes it into law, it's going to go to court immediately. But I do suspect that's not really the goal of this bill. So, it is recognized that the Satanic Temple is actually an established religion, and it is therefore recognized that this is a precedent, because if you can go after the Satanic Temple, which is an established religion, what about paganism next? What about Judaism next? How about Islam? How about LDS? Does any religion matter that is not your Christian religion? Do any values or traditions matter that are not your Christian values and traditions? That's why this is a slippery slope. If we were here to defend the text of the Constitution, no religious symbols at all would be allowed on display. Not here in these hallowed halls, not here in our sacred shared spaces, nowhere. So let's be clear, this bill is not brought before us to defend the Constitution. This bill has the effect of suppressing our constitutional rights. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to just make a comment before we move on to our next speaker. Thank you, sir, for your testimony.
Thank you.
It is legally and constitutionally suspect to argue that Satan, someone who is universally known to be an explicit enemy of God, is somehow a religion. I mean, that is just an absolutely ludicrous statement to make. So let's go on to our next speaker.
I personally feel like this is against my First Amendment. Also, I feel like I have a right to practice whatever I want to with whatever religious imagery or items that I choose
real quick,
to.
Miss, I just want to clarify for you. The bill doesn't prohibit you as an individual. It doesn't infringe your First Amendment rights in any way, because you can still go on a property and you can say whatever kind of things you want to say, right?
No, this is.
But it says that we won't put
items
here.
or
Let me
imagery.
just restate it for you. It says that satanic memorials, statues, altars, or displays, or any other method of representing or honoring Satan may not be displayed on public property in this state. So it doesn't
Items or
infringe your
imagery.
First Amendment at all.
No,
So please continue.
for items or imagery. It's just. I don't know.
You keep going. Yeah, you can keep going. I just wanted to clarify that for
Okay.
you.
I feel like this goes against my whatever I decide to choose, and if I decide to choose something or to have something put up for me to show my faith and what I believe in, I should have the option to have that, and I feel like this is just like an obstacle. I just feel like this is just not
Mr.
right
Mr.
to
Chairman?
doing this.
Senator Mendez.
Ma'am, if I could help out, your religion is being singled out.
Wait, are you testifying for her right now? Senator Mendez, are you,
ma'am,
are you
I'm
testifying for the member of the public? Because I don't think that's permitted. If you want to ask a question, you can feel free to absolutely ask a question.
Ma'am, do you understand that this bill is singling out your religion and is persecuting your religion?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I do recognize that,
Yeah.
and for me, I just feel like it's.
So real quick, ma'am, so you think that it's okay, that it's both legally and constitutionally okay to argue that Satan, so someone like I explained earlier, who is universally known to be explicitly the enemy of God, antithetical to God, you think that's targeting your religion?
Universally known to you?
No, to literally everyone. Yes. Yes. Even actually, I mean, yes, like that's not a point that's debatable. Satan is the enemy of God. Would you not say that Satan is the enemy of God?
No.
So I see. Okay, all right. Disingenuousness for testimony. That's fine. Happens all the time down here. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask you to not accuse the public of lying.
Mr. Mendez.
They're here to provide
you're out of order
testimony.
right now. Thank you.
In the military, I've been with numerous different creeds, religions, races, people of many types. And in that experience, I've come to the understanding that overall diversity makes us stronger, and overall the ability to openly profess what we are and who we are does indeed help with that. How this bill would come into conflict with my ability to practice my religion would be not necessarily obvious in the current time, as in possibly in the future, if I so choose to, if I wanted to. I'm not sure of the process of it, but when it says that specifically it limits the display and representation of honoring Satan on public property. Now-
Sir, real quick, you're missing a word. It says may not be displayed on
may
public
not
property.
display. Yes.
So it doesn't mean you. It means you can't. You're not going to plant down a display.
Oh yes, of course. And
So structure. Right?
oh yes. Now, there are many voices today. I know that I might not be the most charismatic or the most one speaking to the highest or more eloquently, but I want to. This matters to me, and I wanted to make sure that my voice is heard.
As a member of both the Reason Riders Atheist Motorcycle Association and the Satanic Temple, I strongly oppose SB 1279 and any legislation that infringes on the rights of religious or non-religious groups. Protecting the rights of all individuals and organizations to practice their belief freely without government interference is essential for a just and equitable society. It should be concerning to all citizens when legislation is driven by fringe ideologies or agendas that seek to undermine constitutional rights and principles. It's crucial to uphold and protect true religious freedom, ensuring that individuals and groups can practice their beliefs without discrimination or persecution. Upholding the principles of the First Amendment is essential in maintaining a fair and just society where all voices are respected and protected. The First Amendment protects individuals' rights to freedom of religion, speech, and expression, and any legislation that violates those rights will and should be challenged in court. The fourth tenet of the Satanic Temple reads, quote, "The freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own." End quote. This bill is nothing but theater and virtue signaling and a waste of yours and our time. Hail Satan.
Okay, next.
I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran and prior volunteer firefighter. I deployed in 2 separate theaters of combat where I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, where I unfortunately had to bury 2 comrades in arms who had fallen in the line of duty. You can call me anything under the sun, but with my track record of public service, my patriotism to American civil liberties cannot be questioned. I served in eclectic and highly dynamic occupations which required a love for others completely independent of subjective interpretations or personal religious practice. I could not discriminate against those who were Christian, Muslim, atheist, pagan, or anything in between. I fought for everyone's freedom, everyone's. To deny any single group of people the ability to express for themselves is openly and unmolested is unconstitutional and insulting to the very concept of religious liberty. There already exist ordinances which demand uncompromising religious plurality. From the Arizona Constitution, Article 20, Ordinance. The following ordinance shall be irrevocable without the consent of the United States and the people of this state. First, toleration of religious sentiment. I would like to remind the Honorable Chair that the Satanic Temple is registered under a 501c as a registered religion in the United States, so the Honorable Chair's opinions in this situation are inconsequential. First, toleration of religious sentiment. First, perfect toleration of religious sentiment shall be secured to every inhabitant of the state, and no inhabitant of the state shall ever be molested in person or property on account of his or her mode of religious worship or lack of the same. It simply states the general exercise of peaceful religion is protected by Arizona law. It says nothing of Abrahamic religions, just religion, or lack thereof religion. Additionally, Arizona revised statutes, Title 41, State Government 41, Tac 1493, defines religion as the ability to act or refuse to act in a manner substantially motivated by religious belief, whether or not that exercise is compulsory or central to a larger system of belief. As you can see, the unconstitutional nature of such a bill is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of legal definition.
This proposal isn't even a dog whistle. This is a straight up attack on the rights of people and religion. Any religion that can be viewed by this sponsor or this committee as if they view it to be a desecration to Christianity, you're no longer safe in Arizona. This isn't a slippery slope problem. This proposal is literally trying to erase any religious group that does not agree
Senator
with
Mendez,
Judeo-Christianity.
Senator Mendez, pause for a second. Let's not put words in other members' mouths, okay? Nobody said it was a desecration of Christianity. The exact phrasing was it's a desecration to public property. No, I did not, and you will be silent, or else we can have you removed. We'd rather not do that. So, Senator Mendez, it was a desecration of public property.
Either way,
So
the sponsor is
please
using
don't
that
put words in
word
mouths.
to get around the idea that he is literally trying to erase a religious group from existence because they don't agree with his religious group. I don't understand how we all don't see this as an attack on the Constitution. Why am I the only one up here defending the Constitution? The members of the community cited and read the Constitution back to us. Nowhere in this discussion did we have anywhere near perfect toleration of other diverse religious sentiments. This whole committee was insulting to not just this religion, but every religion. This proposal is literally up here trying to molest people and their religions. So
Senator
I have to vote no.
Mendez, thank you. There we go.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, may I?
You may. One second.
Sure.
Sir in the front row, have you been making faces and mannerisms at members of the committee? Okay, you are a member of the public, correct? I mean, you are a member of the press? Okay, so we ask for the same decorum that we ask from all members of the press, please. Okay. Senator Sheehan.
Thank you, sir. If there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, as many have argued for many years, then this is no different. This is actually making the statement. We've had plenty of situations where the commandments have been removed from courthouses across the country, and there's been plenty of attacks on Christians, on Muslims, of all faiths have been attacked. This is simply saying that there will not be a satanic display in a government building. You're allowed to practice however you want, just like I am, as a Christian, allowed to practice however I choose to practice. And with that, I vote aye.
Mr. Chairman, I had almost the exact same thing, Senator Champ, I was going to bring up, is that this goes both ways. And this is not an attack on your ability to practice your religion or practice what it is that you, I'm sorry, what do you? You're incorrect.
Excuse me, members of the audience need to refrain from that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, I vote aye.
Mr. Chair, may I explain my vote? You all are practicing your views here in a public space by being here, by coming to the podium, as is your right as a citizen in the United States of America. And maybe you moved here to practice your views, as is your right. And we uphold that right, and I served 20 years in the military active duty to defend that right. And you can roll your eyes in the back row there, madam, but I don't appreciate that surly kind of attitude to those of us who have served to protect your right. What this bill says is you cannot put a graven image on public property to that. And I defended that right, too, to serve you in this capacity as an elected official from 4 rural counties who I'm sure voted me in to support that. So I just want all of you to have pause here for a minute to understand that we have mutual respect, and you're shaking your head back there. And we will not allow a lack of decorum as per the chair says. Because we respect this institution of a constitutional republic. And as the 48th state, we uphold that with our hardscrabble Western ways here. So just respect the institution, respect this body, respect your fellow man, and understand where we're coming from. And with that, I vote aye.
Yeah, this bill in no way infringes on anyone's First Amendment rights. This bill says that satanic memorials, statues, altars, or displays, or any other method of representing or honoring Satan may not be displayed on public property. That does not strip you of your right to free speech. It does not strip you of your right to assemble. However, it does say that we will not put an altar, or we will not honor Satan. We won't put a memorial or a statue to Satan. Excuse me. This is not public comment time. This says that we will not allow those things to be on public property. It does not infringe your First Amendment rights. What does infringe people's First Amendment rights is when atheists, many of, like the folks who stood here and spoke in this committee, through organizations like the Freedom from Religion Foundation, send nastygrams, and we have members in the audience cheering that organization on, and they send cease and desist letters to pastors who might be asked to come open a meeting with prayer, a prayer whether it be in Allah's name or Jesus Christ's name. But they send cease and desist letters to try and prohibit free speech. The people that this audience is cheering on are the ones trying to infringe free speech. This happened to me. I was going to pray at the East Valley Prayer Breakfast. And guess what? I sure as hell did pray at the East Valley Prayer Breakfast, because you will not trample my right to free speech. But your right to speak is very different from the ability to post an altar to Satan on public property. You know, I find it ironic that in Iowa you can knock over a satanic display and you go to jail for that, but yet at the U.S. Capitol you can have a gay sex orgy in a government building and there is zero consequence. That is abhorrent and disgusting. In Arizona, I'm going to fight to make sure that we do not have satanic memorials and altars and displays honoring Satan on public property. With that, I vote aye. Members, by your vote of 5 ayes, 1 no, and 2 not voting, you've given SB 1279 a due pass recommendation. With no further business before the committee, we are adjourned.